All right, let's dive into a question that sounds super simple on the surface, but is actually at the very heart of our entire economy. What is a business for? I mean, really, is it just about making money, or is it something more? This has been a massive debate for decades, and believe me, the answer is changing right before our eyes.
So let's ask it point blank. What is a business, really? Is it just a machine designed to print cash? Or is it something more fundamental to how our society works? Before we can get into the big, juicy philosophical questions, we gotta start with the basics and get on the same page.
So let's build this thing from the ground up. First things first, we're going to establish a solid, foundational understanding of what a business actually is. Once we've got that locked down, then we can start exploring its much bigger role in the world. Okay, here's the textbook definition. At its core, a business isn't just a random act of selling something. No, it's an organized system. And the two magic words here are goal-oriented and exchanging value. Every single business, from a hot dog stand to a tech giant, is designed to do one thing: achieve a specific goal by creating something valuable enough that you and I are willing to pay for it. As soon as you have that basic definition down, the road immediately splits in two. The second a business decides on its main goal, it's forced to choose between two totally different paths, and it all comes down to a single question. Is the end game about profit, or is it about a mission? And this is the big divide, right? On one side, you've got for-profit businesses. They are legally wired to make as much money as possible for their owners, for their shareholders. Success is simple. It's measured in dollars and cents. On the flip side, you have nonprofits. They are built to serve a social cause. For them, success has nothing to do with profit. It's all about impact. So you've picked your path, profit or mission. What's next? Well, now you need a legal blueprint to build your organization on. And this formal structure, it is one of the most critical decisions a founder will ever make, because it dictates literally everything, from how much personal risk you're taking on, to how you're taxed, to whether you can even raise money to grow. Yeah, choosing a structure isn't just filling out some forms. It's about making a series of really strategic trade-offs. You have to ask yourself some serious questions, like how much personal risk are you cool with? If things go south, could you lose your house? Are you ever going to need to bring in outside investors? The answers to these questions force you to find that perfect balance between simplicity and legal protection. And you can see those trade-offs in action right here. On the simplest end of the spectrum, you've got the sole proprietorship. Super easy to set up, but, and this is a huge but, there is no legal wall between you and the business. On the other extreme is the corporation. It offers the best protection, it's built for fundraising, but man, the paperwork is a nightmare. And that's why the LLC has become so popular. It's that flexible, happy medium between the two. All right, we've got our purpose, we've got our legal blueprint. Now let's pop the hood and take a look at the actual engine room, the essential functions that make any business, whether it's a tiny startup or a global corporation, actually run. You know, a great way to think about this is to picture a car. Management, they're the ones steering, deciding where to go. Finance, that's the fuel in the tank. You're not going anywhere without it. Marketing and sales, they're the ones getting people excited to get in the car for the ride. But the engine itself, the part that actually creates the forward motion, that's operations. And this quote right here, it just nails it. Operations is the engine. It's the part of the business that literally takes ideas or raw materials and turns them into the thing, the product, the service that a customer actually hands over money for. Every other department, from accounting to HR, their entire job is just to support that engine and keep it running smoothly. And this is what it's all been leading up to. We've figured out what a business is, we know how its parts work together, so now we can finally tackle the biggest, most important question of all. Why? Why does it even exist? What is its ultimate purpose? This question right here is the central battle in modern capitalism. Is a company's only real duty to its owners, its shareholders, or does it have a much broader responsibility to its employees, its customers, and the communities it operates in? For decades, this whole debate has been defined by two heavyweight contenders, two totally competing philosophies. In one corner, you have shareholder primacy. That's the idea that a business exists for one reason and one reason only, to make as much money as possible for its owners. In the other corner, you have the stakeholder model, which says, whoa, hold on, a company is responsible to everyone it affects. And for about half a century, one idea completely dominated the conversation. It was made famous by the economist Milton Friedman. The argument was simple and powerful. A company has one and only one social responsibility: to use its resources to increase profits for its shareholders, period. Anything else was a distraction. But then in 2019, something huge happened. The ground literally started to shift. The Business Roundtable, which is the super influential group of America's most powerful CEOs, they put out this revolutionary new statement. They said their fundamental commitment was no longer just to shareholders, but to all stakeholders. It was a direct shot at decades of corporate thinking. And we're not talking about some fringe movement here. Look at this number, 181. That's how many of the world's most powerful CEOs, we're talking the heads of the biggest companies out there, signed their names to this thing. This was a massive signal from the very top that the old profit at all costs model might just be running out of gas. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, the shareholder model is fast, it's efficient. Why? Because it has one clear, simple goal: make more money. But the big knock against it is that this laser focus can cause companies to ignore all the negative side effects they might be creating. The stakeholder model, on the other hand, is all about long-term health and considers a much wider range of risks. But trying to make everyone happy can really slow things down and make decisions incredibly complicated. So where does that leave us? Well, the modern thinking is that this isn't really an either-or fight. The two ideas are actually connected in what you could call a virtuous cycle. The argument is that to create sustainable, long-term profit for shareholders, a company has to invest in its employees. It has to deliver real value to its customers, and it has to be a good citizen in its communities. In the long run, you just can't have one without the others. And that brings us all the way back to our first question. But now, maybe we see it a little differently. Is the purpose of business just to win a game, to rack up the highest score on the financial scoreboard, or is it one of the most powerful tools we have, with the potential and maybe even the responsibility to help build a better world? That right there is the debate that's going to define the future of business.